video as part of the psychology section of the course. All right, so this video is gonna be about long-term mental mastery. Okay, so basically, mastering the long-term vision in trading. First one being adapting to market conditions. Okay, you have to be able to be mentally flexible. Okay, when the market changes. So when I say the market changes, I don't mean the market stops moving in a certain way. There are times when the market is building liquidity, right? So now, if it's building liquidity, what is it doing? It's respecting structure. Now, I don't mean change your entire trading strategy and start trading with structure. I mean, understand that the market is in that current phase, so stay away from the markets, or maybe trade a different pair. So when you understand that the market is, what the current market conditions are, it will help you from taking losses or whatnot. Yeah, understanding market conditions. Okay, so if the market is building liquidity on higher time frames or even intraday time frames, you can stay away from the markets or look at a different pair, right? Because now the market's gonna move with structure and it's going to be something you don't want to get yourself involved in. Okay, because obviously we look at higher probability trades. Sometimes the market's more volatile, sometimes the market isn't as volatile. You have to take all that stuff into consideration and ask yourself, am I a person that can deal with volatility? Just being aware and adapting to market conditions. Number 2 is ego. Okay, so ego plays a very significant role in trading. It's about identifying and managing how ego affects decision making. All right, so the way ego affects decision making is, well, to be honest, you can end up refusing to admit mistakes. Now, remember, the way you learn is from your mistakes. That's just how it is in trading, okay? The only way you succeed in trading is through your mistakes. If you're able to admit your mistakes, see your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, then you actually become successful, right? Now, if you have a big ego, or if your ego gets in the way, you're not gonna admit your mistakes. So yeah, understanding that your mistakes are part of learning. You're human, you're gonna make mistakes. That's just how it is. And you can't be perfect, okay? When it comes to trading, you can't be perfect. If you try to be perfect, the market's just gonna humble you, I'll be completely honest. There's just no such thing as being perfect in the markets, okay? Everyone takes losses. You have to be able to admit where you go wrong, okay? Because if you can tell yourself, I went wrong here for this specific reason, then you can learn from your mistake. Another way ego can affect decision making is the overconfidence. So you can start feeling invincible when you're overconfident, oh, I'm never gonna take losses, right? That's definitely something bad, right? It can definitely affect how your success is in trading, and you can also end up risking more, right? I've talked about overconfidence in the previous videos, but yeah, also the inability to learn from mistakes, right? So obviously I talked about admitting mistakes. Now it's about inability to learn. Learning from mistakes is the best way, or the only way you can actually succeed in the markets. So yeah, also I would say over trading. Let's say you're on a good winning streak or whatever. You can end up over trading, right? Taking too many trades in the day because you just feel like you're invincible, So ego can affect you that way. And also another one is focusing on being right, okay, and not profitable. When it comes to trading, you have to realize it's not about being right, okay? The whole reason you're trading is because you're trying to make money to provide for your family and to feel that lifestyle you have, or just to get that financial freedom or that financial independence that you want. Okay, now how do you get to that if you're focusing on being right? If you keep focusing on being right, you're just gonna be in that constant state of getting some trades that are wins and then losses and then wins, and just, which is obviously how trading is, but your losses are going to be a lot bigger than your wins because you're just focused on being right all the time. Your direction could be off, but you can still catch a winning trade if your direction is off, as long as you know where to target. Okay, that's why I talk about, and that's why I preach about taking partials all the time. So yeah, that's another one. How to keep ego in check. Honestly, I would say following a trading plan, right? You definitely have to stick to a structured plan that have like specific rules for entry and exit and risk management. You also have to adopt a growth mindset. Okay, so basically view losses as learning opportunities instead of personal failures. Okay, so you don't look at a loss as, oh my god, I failed as a trader. Okay, you took a loss, or even if you lose a challenge, you didn't fail as a trader. Okay, you just took a loss. It's a learning opportunity. You know, just look at it and be like, okay, what did I do to lose this account, or what did I do to take these L's? You know, sit down, analyze, right? Analyze your emotions, analyze the trades, and figure out where you went wrong. That's the only way you see real growth. Next, short-term versus long-term vision. Okay, so building the ability to prioritize long-term growth over short-term rewards. Okay, so it's all about the long-term vision. Okay, I've talked about this many times in the previous videos, and we always come back to short-term versus long-term. Okay, because it's a very, very important subject within it. When it comes to trading, you have to understand short-term gains is not what you're supposed to be focusing on. Like I said in the previous videos, think of it in the way of, you know, what my profitability is going to look like at the end of the month, or even at the end of the year, right? I'd say focusing on, let's say, end of the month is a lot better, just because, you know, you want to be positive at the end of the month, or at least break even. You can have a red month. It is possible. But just understanding, right? So, like, let's say you have a red month. You just have to understand, look, that one red month is not going to affect you at the end of the year. Because if you have, let's say, 11 green months, or I mean blue months, and then you have that one red month is not going to affect you. Okay, so just understanding long-term vision. Next one is balancing ambition with realism. Okay, so you can be ambitious, but you have to have realistic, I'd say, goals. Setting achievable goals to avoid burnout and frustration. Because if you have unrealistic goals, you're gonna end up burning out and being frustrated all the time. Okay, so have achievable goals. Let's say, I don't know, you have a 10K account, okay, with a prop firm, and you're making consistent payouts. Now, you want to build towards more capital. I wouldn't tell you to jump from 10K to 200K right off the bat. You know, really, like, gradually get up there. Because if you have a 10K account, okay, you're making a certain amount of profits. Now, maybe that one payout can pay for a 100K account or a 200K account. But now you just wasted all that payout on that 200K or 100K account. And if it does go wrong, now you're just going to be frustrated because you jumped too high. Let yourself work your way up there. You know, like if you're on a 10K account, maybe jump to a 25K account. You know, make profits on that. Then jump to a 50K account. Then make profits on that. Then jump to 100K and then 200K, you know, and lead up to bigger numbers, bigger capital. Okay, so have realistic goals, right? Something you can actually achieve, but also be ambitious. You know, like don't sit there and be like, okay, I have a 10K account, I'm only gonna get another 10K account. You can have an ambitious goal, like, okay, let me go from 10K to 25K. All right, so that is the end of the video. The next one is going to be on psychological metrics for success.